Hey, hey, hey. So I wish I had been able to do this 20 minutes ago because I was taking screenshots before I had to leave for the dentist, and I looked at the chart and I said to myself, it's been quiet for 24 hours. It just dropped down into this zone and I feel like it's gonna activate again. And on my way here, we had an M flare and it started up again. So here's what's been going on with the sun. So like I mentioned, we just had this M flare in the last 5 or 10 minutes, and that's after 24 hours of quiet. We were having some C flares. We had an almost M flare within the last 24 hours, but it was still a C 9 point something. So we have a very good chance of a lot of M flares and an X flare. The sunspot that just flipped over the eastern limb to face us is going to be with us for the next 7 or 8 days. So there's a very good chance we're going to get X flares. I wouldn't be surprised if we had more than one. I would expect the first one to be within the next 36 hours. And the reason I put it like that, I expect, is because I can feel it building. I've been watching these patterns for a long time, and others who have been following me for a while and who have studied some of the stuff on my Patreon and worked with me are also finding that they know what's going on before it shows up on any of these apps. So looking down below where you can see all the different flares we had on Tuesday, the 11th, 8 M flares in a period of about 12 hours. And then things were pretty quiet for the next 24. And if I had gotten to use this one before the flare went off, I would have said, and I'm pretty sure it's going to get active again, because look over there. We're currently at a KP3, which isn't really considered geomagnetic storm levels yet, but we are supposed to get up to a 4 today, tomorrow, and maybe Saturday have a KP5. I know a lot of aurora chasers were expecting us to maybe get something down in the lower latitudes tonight, but unlikely that we're going to get it. But you never know, so always make sure you go out there at sundown if you're into that. Extreme close up. Just hiding the screenshot behind me for a second. So I woke up this morning around 4:30, 5 a.m. and was like an Energizer bunny for 3-4 hours. And I'll explain why I feel like our circadian rhythms are changing in another TikTok here in a minute. But in the meantime, I just looked at the Schumann when I was getting ready to do all this, and I went, no wonder. So the frequency is in the comfy zone, but we are getting white bursts on the spectrograph and power 45 on amplitude, so it's louder. And we just started, I took this about 20 minutes ago, so I would imagine if I went and looked right now that we're having another little spike. So when we get those, they're very energizing. Part of what I talk about on my Patreon is how to adapt and feel better while this stuff is happening.